Okay, everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to be doing a quick video of the Major League Baseball slate tonight. Again, this is what I call DGen Saturday. I mean, not only is there, we went over two NASCAR races, not only are we sweating our PGA lineups, I have one that made the top 606. Not only do we have MMA later or an NBA, but I got 18 holes of golf I'm playing with my son in 35 minutes. So a lot going on. I'm going to get this done. And again, Bobby's not around. So, you're going to have to live with my takes in baseball. And I'm going to not get to every game. I'm going to give you kind of a slate overview and a couple of bits of caution and things like that. And in general, who I'm kind of interested in. The first thing I will say is that this particular slate is above, not contrary, more than so many slates in the last couple of weeks. I mean, you really don't want to play any chalk tonight. I mean, there's so many different ways you could go with hitting that, again, if you end up with the top owned stack, I promise you're doing it wrong tonight. I mean, I could make cases for so many different spots here. And again, I'm not going to go through every player from every game, but from an overall slate perspective, I really think, and I went through all these games, is that there's not one real incredible standout, and from at least the way the numbers pan out, and I think that there are going to be teams that are highly owned. They just always are. So I would encourage you to look at ownerships and look at everything, and don't be afraid to take stacks and take teams that no one's taking today, because I think the difference between the probability of the top team winning the slate and the lowest team winning the slate, I think is very, it's very tight, that spread. So the first thing I want to talk about is the pitching. So the pitching, this is just my opinions, obviously. I'm not going to Zach Wheeler today. He's the top, salary guy, but I don't think you need to I don't think that's where I'm going to go. There's some really, really strong values going, lower. And, we got to talk about those. So at the top of the heap with respect to value is going to be Justin Sheffield. He is only 6,500 in a really nice pitcher's park. And, he's projecting so strongly that it's going to be tough to kind of get away from him. And he's going to be really highly owned, but I think that's okay. I think as long as you don't go him with chalky stacks or him with another chalky pitcher, maybe, I think that's fine. I think to me, he's clearly the standout with respect to value and all that other stuff. So he's going to be my main priority, especially on DraftKings. FanDuel, I don't even know if I need him, just because I don't can't find the bats I want to spend up for, if you want to know the truth. But he certainly rates to be an incredibly strong value on FanDuel as well. I just don't think I need him. I think on FanDuel I'm more interested. I think he could spend up a little bit. But I don't know. These values are so strong everywhere that I don't even know if I'm going to get to these top guys. Like Zach Gallen, I put in as my my top spend up, and on DraftKings he certainly makes a lot of sense. Definitely, I like him better than Kyle Hendricks. I definitely like him better than Zach Wheeler. So I think that if you're going to spend up, I think Zach Gallen is just obviously, to me, the easy play. Again, I don't really want Hendricks. I don't really want Zach Wheeler. Dustin May, I thought about a little bit. Again, they're going against Colorado on the road, and yeah, he certainly makes my second tier. But again, I'm content with the Sheffield Gallen. The other one that's going to be two other guys that are value guys that are going to garner some ownership, who are really kind of strong. One is going to be not Zach Hughes, Jordan Lyles. Okay. Jordan Lyles is he's 7,400 out of that same game. And again, whenever you're going against Seattle, you get, you always going to rate as a good value. So Jordan Lyles is pretty good. He's a good, strong value. He'll get some ownership also. but certainly not as good as Sheffield at his spot. Sheffield's just much better. The other guy who's going to be a kind of a source of whatever is going to be Tristan Mckenzie. He is big prospect. He had surgery and all this stuff, and he's coming in and getting the matchup against Detroit. So he's going to get ownership. He's going to project really, really well. And the thing is that I just don't think I need him. I can put, if I play Sheffield and Mckenzie, together, for example, I would need to justify that by having like Coors bats or something. I just don't think I need it. So, and it's not as if you could just play Mckenzie as a pivot off of Sheffield, because Mckenzie's going to be popular also. I don't know how these builds are going to go. I guess people are going to go Wheeler Sheffield or Gallen Sheffield or Wheeler Mckenzie or something like that. I don't know if you can play Sheffield and Mckenzie together. I don't even know you can spend your salary efficiently today. So I actually, as we get to it, I actually wouldn't mind if Mckenzie gets some ownership here. I might actually try to stack against him just to get some leverage. As I mentioned, there's plenty of different ways that you could go from a hitting perspective today, and that's one of them. So let me just go over, on DraftKings, the different teams that you can play, and I'll just leave it to you to prioritize them. But that's not true. I'll give you my priority. So Minnesota looks really, really good. They're not like a lock. Singer's fine, but I do think that Minnesota rates to be one of the top stacks. And I'll just go over some kind of highlights as far as value goes. Eddie Rosario looks like a really strong play. Jake Cave looks like a really strong play if he gets in. Even this Ildemargo Vargas looks like a strong play. These are just the value plays. And what you could do then is you could fill in with like Kepler and Cruz and the guys that really, that you really want to get out of this. So Minnesota is certainly a main team that I would love to stack, or at least think about it, depending on how ownership plays out. Kansas City, Kansas City looks like good values, but Dobnak is actually kind of sneaky. He limits damage, he weaves out of trouble, and I don't know if I'm going to go with it, but I could certainly justify, honestly, like Kansas City is a possible stack here. You could be at Hunter Dozier at 3,200. You can get, again, he's not going to win the MVP, but you get Nicky Lopez at 2,000 or 2,200, and then you could fill it in with your normal guys like Soler, Merrifield, stuff like that. So they're fine. I mentioned earlier that you can use Detroit as kind of like a contrarian stack against Mckenzie, just in case he's not ready to go, and because all these guys are so freaking cheap. You get Kristen Stewart at 2,600. You get Parodies, who blew up last night again, really cheap, 2,400, and that allows you to get, Victor Reyes is 3,100. Then allows you to get Goodrum and guys that are actually good like Scope. So I have no problem with this either. Cleveland against Matt Boyd. Now again, I know if I skipped over Matt Boyd and the pitchers thing. I'm just kind of done with him. I'm not doing it anymore. I know he's got upside. I know he can strike people. I'm just over it. I just can't. I just not lost too much money. He can show me one performance where he gets out of the first 2 innings without throwing 50 pitches, and then I'll listen to it. I'm just not into it. I'm just not doing it. Listen, it's probably a good GPP thing to get rid of Sheffield and just play Gallen and Boyd together with the 2 highest strikeout upsides, and then just pay down at hitting. Actually, oh God, am I going to do that? Sigh. All right. I guess I have to. Why do I just have this morbid desire to play Matt Boyd and Mike Minor and Robbie Ray and all of those clown lefties who can't get the ball over the plate? I don't know why I'm doing it, but from a GPP perspective, Matt Boyd is certainly a good GPP play. He gets remember on a slate like this, I mean, who's going to get 35 fantasy points? Probably nobody, but Gallen and Boyd are probably the two guys that can do that. Like Sheffield's not getting 35 fantasy points. He's just a really, really strong value. I did it again. I'm going to play Matt Boyd again. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. I mean, Philly's very, very strong as far as values go. McCutcheon's dirt cheap. Well, I say dirt cheap. Against Erlin, like all these guys are in play. Hoskins, 4,200. They priced, you know what they priced him? They priced up Harper finally, 6,100. I'm not going to play him, but Hoskins, very strong. McCutcheon, those have been my two main targets. Kingery's really cheap, but he kind of stinks. He's 2,900. I'm not going to stack Atlanta. So they're one I'm not going to go after. And I'm actually going to probably avoid the Boston-Baltimore game. I just think that that's going to be a little bit too chalky for me. Especially the Boston side, I'm probably going to stay away from it. Again, not that it's bad. I'm just going to want something a little more contrarian. One guy I want to mention on Baltimore, if in fact he gets in and gets a decent lineup spot, if you want to stack Baltimore, because you can always stack against Boston. Their bullpen's the worst. I mean, they're just terrible. One guy, if you want to waste an outfield position for 2,600, you could play Ryan Mountcastle. He actually bets fifth at 2,600. That's going to be that's going to be strong. And then you get Valaika, who had a home run last night. So if you get both those guys, you can make a Baltimore stack. That's what you could do. You could play Valaika with Mountcastle, and then you can get the good guys like Santander, Bobby's catcher, who's Chance Sisco if he plays. I think they have Severino starting, but who else? Alberto. So you could do that. You could play a Baltimore stack. Again, I don't know what these ownerships are going to be, but that's another way you can go. White Sox, I don't think I'm going to do it just because I really, it's kind of silly to say, but I do like playing the White Sox against really bad pitchers. Not even bad pitchers. I don't like playing them against good real-life pitchers. With that said, Nomar Mazara at 2,600 is kind of a joke. So if he makes the lineup, I might play him, maybe do something. This Mendick guy, he had a home run last night, and it's just stone minimum at 2K. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So just on value, if you want to play a couple of these guys together, maybe wrap around with Tim Anderson at the one hole. You can go Mazara, Mendick, Tim Anderson, for example, and make that work. Cubs I think they're going to be pretty popular. They're really great prices on FanDuel. But even on DK, I think some of these guys, as I said, I mean, you can find good situations in a lot of games here, like Bote, Hayward. I mean, these guys are only really cheap, and what that allows you to do is you get Baez still at 4,200. Schwarber on FanDuel's like a joke. What was he, 2,300, 2,400, whatever it is, he's under 3K. So against Lopez, I think that the Cubs are certainly in play. And again, I don't mean to be wishy-washy, but I mean, again, you just got to just pick the lowest owned of these guys, these teams that I'm mentioning. I think you're going to be in good shape. Colorado, LA, Cincinnati, St. Louis. Even this game, Cincinnati, maybe not Cincinnati so much, although I do like Phillip Ervin. Where is he? At 3K in the outfield. You could even play St. Louis. Like St. Louis is all really cheap today, except for the better players, right? So if you want to pay up for like say Edmund or Goldsmith, you can make it work because you get like Tyler O'Neill at 3,500. You can get Colton Wong at 3,200. I don't know if Harrison Bader makes the lineup at 3K. So you could make St. Louis a target. Colorado, no. So there you go. There's one team I told you I don't want to play. I don't even want to get to the Dodgers today. I mean, if anything, what I would do to the Dodgers is just take the kind of cheaper righties like Pollock and Taylor. Freeland's sneaky, right? So I don't know if I'm going to play the Dodgers today. I always like to play them, but I might just do a two-man with Pollock and Taylor or something like that. What else? Houston. I'm kind of staying away from Houston today. San Diego, you can make a case for them, but Belak's sneaky. Grisham's really cheap again. Cronenworth's really cheap. So again, I'm just kind of giving you the overview here. Texas, no, not today. Seattle, you can play Seattle. I mean, at like 2%. Like if Jordan Lyles gets some love, right? You know, you could play Evan White at 2,600. You could play Kyle Seager at 3,300. Shed Long, even like some of these lefties also. But you could also play righty, play Kyle Lewis as kind of a leverage stack. And then if you don't like I say, any and all of that, you might play one of probably my favorite stack of the day. You play Arizona. Like Arizona, you can get Tim LeCastro at 2,700, probably leading off. And then not only that, you can get Kevin Cron. I think he's back at 2,300. I mean, if he's back and in the lineup, I mean, then you could just load up on this other stuff. Like you play Peralta 3,200. I mean, like this is how you can get pay up for these pitchers if you want. Like if you want to play Wheeler and Gallen just for the raw points and screw it with Sheffield, that's fine because you could play these Arizona guys really, really cheaply and then they can tee off on Anderson. That's no problem. So I think that overall the baseball slate's a war. I mean, you could go a lot of ways. I mean, I'm telling you, the best pitcher from a value perspective is Sheffield, and you know, you probably should pair him with someone with some raw points, like maybe Gallen or somebody like that. If you want to play Wheeler, fine. I just think that probably Gallen, Sheffield is probably the way to go. But yeah, you go ahead, play Wheeler and Sheffield too. I prefer Sheffield to the other guy. I forget his name, Mckenzie. So Mckenzie gets ownership. I'll probably fade him. I might actually, again, take some Detroit guys against him. But again, this is probably not the worst idea to do this stupid thing I did with the strikeout pitchers paired together, Zach Gallen and Boyd. And just, oh my God, Boyd's going to get rocked by Cleveland, isn't he? He's going to facing all these freaking switch hitters. I mean, give me a break. I'm really going to play this? Yeah, I guess. All right, well, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope I at least didn't confuse you too much. And yeah, that's it. Have a good Saturday, and I'll catch up to you soon.